there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Paw Your Way Into Our Hearts hop, which is a pet-related hop that we do monthly, and it is also series 19 of 30 Days of Sketches. This is the sketch from Jessica Michaels, and I followed it pretty closely. I'm just using one 4x6 of me and my son's dog and my dog, and I'm using a bunch of scraps from my scrap bin in both the cool colors and the warm colors. I'm going to kind of mix the two up. I'm going to use all of those to, well, not all of them, I'm going to use a lot of those to back my photos. I also have this spare parts banner flags from Paper Studio, which is Hobby Lobby. And then I have these really old Heidi Grace chipboard punch outs, which are alphas. And I got these at a kind of a reuse kind of a place. And it's a complete set. And I got it for like $2.50. And I never had these way back in the day. I know they're super old. I know you guys can't get them anymore. But since I never had them, I was like, those look like fun to play with. And they looked great for mixed media. So I'm going to go ahead and use those today. And I love that they are super big and chunky for layouts like this, where I've just got one photo and I've got a lot of real estate down below. So I am going to start with the photo of the two dogs with me. And I'm going to use some PaperArtsy Infusion ink or powder, and the colors that I chose to use are Black Knight, which is the black of the three that you just saw there, as well as Green Man, which is the green of the one. Actually, I don't even use Black Knight. I don't know who I'm kidding. I'm going to use the Green Man, and I'm going to use the Blackberry one. And I'm going to be doing some mixed media on this paper. This paper is just a close to my heart piece of paper, so nothing fancy. It's one of the daisy ones that I purchased before they went out of business. So I'm going to start by just doing a bunch of paper layers behind my photo. I love doing this. It's something I do quite often. I don't do it all the time, but I do it often. It's a great way to use up your scraps. It's a great way to make one or two photos the star of your show. And you don't have to have full sheets because you can kind of just mix and match and put them behind. The key is to kind of balance. If I'm putting pink on one side, I'm putting pink on the other side, but maybe not in the exact same layer, because I want my layers to kind of show the variation of color. I'm also using this Pretty Little Studio packaging because I wanted all those little hearts, and I wanted some of that black writing, and it's just going to add to the array of texture behind the photograph. You can see here I don't even have a full little piece of this. Could have used either side of that one actually, but I'm going to use the pink polka dot side just to give me more dimension and contrast between my layers, because I already had a pink layer down, so I thought I'd use the one that had a lot more white showing. And then I'm going to just keep going, adding some greens and some whites, and even mixing whether or not it's a more yellowy green versus a more blue-based green. It's all going to work. It's all going to come out fine, especially because my photo has the blue in it. It's got the yellowy greens. It's also got the pinks in her tongue and my skin. So it's all going to work out just fine. I love doing that, and I think it's a lot of fun. Another key is to not have your corners all match up identically. You want to kind of stagger all of your pieces of paper and all your corners. So now I'm going through that chipboard and pulling out some really big letters to just spell the word park. And I think that's perfect. It keeps it really concise, it keeps everything kind of the same width as the photo as well. And so I like that. I am going to mixed media. I'm going to paint these. I'm going to paint these using some Dilutions paint in, I think it's Vibrant Turquoise Shimmer, but I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully I show you that in just a bit here. In the meantime, I'm going to get started on the PaperArtsy stuff because this is going to be wet, and so I need to set it aside to dry. My spray bottle, the Tim Holtz one that I have, it's not my favorite, but it does do the finest mist most reliably. And that was kind of what I was going for, but the little tube inside was pointed towards the back part of the bottle, the back being the part that's closer to my hand, And so when I tip it forward, it's not pulling any water in. And so I was messing around with it to kind of get the water to, or get the nozzle, the tube for the nozzle towards the front of the sprayer, being the portion that aligns best with the same side of the sprayer that the nozzle is on. So when I tip it, all the water is able to get sucked up. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. I know. I could have just gotten up and gotten more water, but you know, it's like an ongoing issue with that thing. So I just decided it's time to fix it. So here is my painting. I really like it. I decided to do it over a book page because why waste the mixed media? That's kind of like my new thing these days, is rather than just throwing it out, I'm going to, or just wiping it up on a baby wipe, I'm going to try and do it over book pages, and then I can use it in my journal or the traveling journal that is going around, or even on other layouts. So you will see that paper make an appearance again at some point down the road, because it does get used. And then I am using these spare parts banner flags to wrap around the word park. It sure would have been a lot easier if I just went ahead and straight up did what the sketch had and put my title up above and my banners down below. But no, I decided to weave them in and out of the word park. And if you know anything about me, it is that anything with twine or thread is very fiddly, and it takes me forever. So I didn't make you sit through all of it, but I kind of got it to where I thought was the right length. And then I have to undo the whole thing because I want to add some sangria ink on both sides, because you're going to see both sides of this as I weave it around. When it comes in from the right hand side, you actually are going to see the correct side of the flags, but when I weave it back going towards the from the left to the right, you're seeing the back side of the flags. It doesn't really matter because it's just white thread. There you can kind of tell, but it's not super obvious. And so I'm going to have to do some sangria ink on both sides, and that's a Catherine Pooler ink. It's one of the minis that I've got. Here is where I decided to put a little bit of paper underneath my letters so I could move them as one big piece, and then I'll be able to take that paper out from underneath. But I needed more hands for this, you guys. I don't even know what was happening here, but yeah, it was not the easiest thing to do for whatever reason. I think I'm just challenged with anything that has twine or ribbon or thread. Yeah, I think it's just me. But anyway, as you can see here, I play around with it for a while. I didn't even make you sit through all of it because it's a lot. And once I get it through the top, I realize I need to get that thing out of that piece of paper from behind out so that I can weave it through the next level. So here is where I decide, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just tack the top of my letters down, because that's going to allow me to kind of lift them up and weave things through. And so I'm kind of waiting for that to set up. Meanwhile, I am making sure my paper layers have plenty of glue to adhere them together and they don't kind of ruffle up in the corners. Once that gets all set, then I can kind of pull things up. Now the top of the A is not glued down because it's a short letter, but all of the other ones are. And of course, you know, these are chipboard letters. They're not like the best. Well, I don't know about the quality, but they're really old. So, you know, when I pull that paper off, it did pull a little chipboard off, but some chipboards like that, you know, you can kind of peel it apart in layers. And so I just kind of went with it and decided just, you know, do the best I can. And here I am just weaving it back around. I did have to fiddle with this again. I did it off camera because I wanted more of those flags across the bottom layer. So I kind of had to kind of move that top row over towards the left more, the middle row towards the right more, and kind of feed it through all of the letters a little bit more. So I didn't make you sit through all of it, like I said, because it became quite a thing where it just took me a while to do. I did trim down my paper by about 1/4 of an inch, maybe slightly more than 1/4 of an inch, because I want a border around all of it. So I'm taking more of that sangria ink. I'm just rubbing it on an extra piece of paper, And then, of course, I'm not going to waste this ink, so I'm going to pull in another paper from this old Reader's Digest that I have. It's a Reader's Digest book, and I've just been pulling papers out of it as I need them and soaking up the mixed media as I need to. And I'm liking how it's working so far because I'm using it here and there, and it's been great. I just aligned my paper with the paper behind, and I stuck a like a row of glue and let that set for just a few seconds, and then I was able to kind of lift the rest of it up and put more glue down. You could also use your ATG, but if you have trouble aligning things, this is a great way to do it because you can kind of get that one side aligned pretty easily, and it gives you a chance to wiggle things around because it is liquid glue. Once that one edge is set, then you can go back and tack the rest of it down around the other edges, maybe put a little glue in the middle like I did to hold it in place, but it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. And then I pulled out this metallic jelly roll pen, and I'm just doing a double sketchy line in this turquoisey color, the same kind of color as the title is actually painted in. And then I decided to go back and with my little flags here, I decided to put a little bit of rub-ons on them because the white was just too stark of a white with all of the other mixed media going on. And these worked really well. These are all in Create, but they've been in my stash for a while. And the areas where there's not a lot of rub-on, you can kind of see when you lay it down. When I laid it down upside down there was a bunch of white splotches. Those rubbed off great. The other areas, not so much. So don't save your rub-ons. Use them. I haven't had this problem with the 49 and Market ones. I don't know if it's just an all-in Create thing or if it's because the grid line rub-on area is so small. There's not a lot of moisture in them to keep them so that they are usable for a long period of time. And I did add a label up at the top as well, so I'm going to add the date. This is just the dogs and me. We are actually sitting in front of a building next to the dog park that is adjacent to a parking lot where they have a farmer's market. So we're hanging out while my husband ran over to the farmer's market to pick up some vegetables or some fruit for the day or for the week. And we're just waiting for him because they don't actually want you to bring your pets through the farmer's market. So we're hanging out waiting for him. We've already spent our time at the dog park. I thought it was a really cute picture of them just hanging out with me. And so I decided to go ahead and scrapbook it. And it's not often that I have both dogs with us. Usually my son goes as well. So it was kind of nice just to be able to get a picture of all of us together. Well, the three of us together, the girls. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check the links down below for 30 days of sketches and for the Paw Your Way Into Our Hearts hop, and check out what everyone else is creating. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again real soon with another one. Bye-bye.